All right, today we're going to zoom in on one of the most common, yet totally critical components in all of electronics. I mean, it is everywhere. Your phone, your computer, your car, you name it. If electricity is flowing through it, you can bet this little guy is in there. We're talking about the humble but seriously mighty resistor.
So let's jump right in with a little mystery. Say you've got a simple LED and a 9-volt battery. You think, easy enough, and you connect them together expecting this nice, bright light. But instead, poof, you get a quick flash and then nothing. The LED is toast. So what gives? It seems so simple, but what you've actually done is unleashed way, way too much electrical power.
The answer to our little explosive problem is this component right here, the resistor. Its whole reason for being is to create something called electrical resistance. Basically, its job is to get in the way of electricity, to slow it down and control just how much is flowing through a circuit. You can think of it as the traffic cop of the electronics world. But, I mean, how does a tiny little thing like this control something as powerful as electricity? Well, to really get a feel for it, we're going to use a classic analogy that just makes everything click. Imagine a big tank of water. Okay, so first up is voltage. Think of voltage as the water pressure, pushing out of a hose that's connected to the bottom of that tank. The more water you have stacked up in there, the more force, the more pressure is pushing down and trying to escape. In the world of electronics, that pressure, that's voltage. Right, so if voltage is the pressure, then what's current? Well, current is the actual flow of the water coming out of that hose. It's the amount of water, or in our case, the amount of electrical charge, that's zipping past a certain point every single second. It makes sense, right? More pressure usually means more flow.
And this, right here, this is the key to everything: resistance. In our water analogy, resistance is simply the width of the hose. You see, a really narrow hose resists the flow of water, so even if you have a ton of pressure, not that much water can squeeze through. But a super wide hose? It has very little resistance, so a whole lot of water can just rush right out. A resistor acts exactly like that narrow hose, intentionally choking back the flow.
Now, this beautiful relationship between pressure, flow, and hose width, or, voltage, current, and resistance, it's not just a nice idea. It's described perfectly by one of the most fundamental rules in all of electronics, Ohm's law. It's a simple little formula that just says voltage equals current multiplied by resistance, V equals I times R. So what does Ohm's law really tell us? It tells us that we're in control. If we crank up the resistance in a circuit, we can dial down the flow of charge, or the current. It means by picking just the right resistor, we can get the exact amount of current we want for any voltage we have. It's like a precision control knob. Okay, let's go back to our poor fried LED and put this power to use. Our goal, right, is to power it with a 9-volt battery without blowing it up. We look at the LED specs, and it says it's happiest with about 0.018 amps of current. So we just use Ohm's law. We'll just rearrange it a bit to solve for resistance. So R equals V divided by I. We plug in our numbers. That's 9 volts divided by 0.018 amps. And what do we get? We need a resistor of about 500 ohms. And here it is, the moment of truth. We grab a standard 560 ohm resistor. That's a common value, and it's close enough. We pop it into the circuit, and voila! It works perfectly. The resistor does its job, limits the current to a safe level, and our LED lights up nice and bright. No smoke involved. We have officially tamed the electricity. Awesome. So now that we've seen resistors save the day, let's talk about the different kinds you'll find out there. Because, not all resistors are made the same. They generally come in 2 main flavors: the ones that have a fixed resistance and the ones that are actually designed to change. So on one hand, you've got your fixed resistors. The resistance value is set in stone, it doesn't change. But then you've got these other cool ones called variable resistors, or maybe you've heard them called potentiometers. I mean, just think of a volume knob on a stereo, or a light dimmer on your wall. That's a potentiometer. It's letting you physically adjust the resistance, and because of that, you're changing the current or voltage on the fly. Okay, so we know resistors can limit current, but what's one of the most clever, most common tricks they're used for inside pretty much every single device you own? It's a really cool circuit called a voltage divider. Think about it. A modern device like your phone, it might need 5 volts for its main brain, the processor, but maybe only 3 volts for a little sensor. Now, instead of trying to cram a bunch of different batteries or power sources in there, engineers use a voltage divider. It's a super simple but brilliant circuit that uses a couple of resistors to create different, smaller voltage levels, all from one single higher voltage source. So here's the basic idea of how it works. You start with one power source. Let's say it's 12 volts. As the electricity flows through the first resistor, some of that voltage gets used up pushing through it. This is called a voltage drop. So if you were to measure the voltage right after that first resistor, you might get something lower, like 8 volts. Then the current keeps going through a second resistor, causing another voltage drop. If you measure after that one, you might get an even lower voltage, like 4 volts. It's an unbelievably efficient way to get all the different voltages a complex circuit needs. Now, of course, these are physical things, and even though they're incredibly reliable, they can fail. So how does that usually happen? Well, the most common way is for it to just break and create an open circuit, usually from getting way too hot. Sometimes their resistance value can drift over time and become unstable, but you know what's super, super rare? A resistor causing a short circuit. I mean, its entire purpose is to resist current, not let it flow freely. So that kind of failure just almost never happens. So just how common are these things? It's mind-boggling, really. From the simple circuit we built to light one LED, all the way up to the most advanced supercomputers, resistors are absolutely everywhere. The number of them quietly doing their job at any given moment is just staggering. In fact, a modern computer processor contains literally billions of tiny transistor structures that all depend on this fundamental principle of resistance to work. So the next time you turn a volume knob, or dim a light, or just power on any piece of tech, take a second to think about that tiny, powerful hero inside. Its simple job of just getting in the way is what makes everything else possible. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Just how many resistors do you think are controlling the flow of electricity inside the very device you're using to watch this right now?